You're not holding anybody up.
The king and the queen start our show tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We're bypassing the prologue.
Yes, and the first scene.
Bypassing the first scene.
So it's scene 2 in Act 1. Enter the king, the council chamber.
Actors to the stage, actors to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael.
Can I come on too?
Thank you. And Jim.
Can I come too?
Break a leg, Jim. Break a leg.
Oh, it's already broken.
Oh dear. Break the other one.
All right. Ow.
You want any more crazy?
Wait a minute. Good luck, everyone.
Yes, I got the chocolate drink for me too.
Cheers. Yes, cheers. Let's do one for the queen.
Cheers.
Cheers,
and also for Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, Leilani, you look beautiful.
I dressed for the occasion.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's doing the queen.
Looks like Queen Kapiolani. Okay. We'd like to thank everyone for attending our performance this evening of Henry VIII. We're skipping the first scene and the prologue to make your enjoyment even better. And we're beginning at Scene 2, Act 1, the council chamber.
My life itself and the best part of it. Thanks you for this great care. I stood either level of a full-charged confederacy and give thanks to you that choked it. Let me be called before us that gentleman of Buckingham in person. I'll hear him confession justify and point by point the treason of his master he shall again relate.
In order, the queen, room for the queen, room for the queen. Enter Queen Catherine, ushered in by Norfolk and Suffolk. Henry VIII rises from his state, takes her up, kisses, and placeth her by him.
Nay, we must longer kneel. I am a suitor.
Arise and take place by us. Half your suit never names to us. You have half our power. The other moiety ere you ask is given. Repeat your will and take it.
Thank your majesty, that you would love yourself, and in that love, not considered leave your honor, not the dignity of your office is the point of my petition.
Lady mine, proceed.
I am solicited not by a few, and those of true condition, that your subjects are in great grievance there have been commissions, sent down among them which hath flawed the heart of all their loyalties wherein, although my good Lord Cardinal, they vent reproaches most bitterly on you, as putter on of these exactions, yet the king, out our master, whose honor heaven shield from soil, even he escapes not. Language unmannerly, yea, such which breaks the size of loyalty, and almost appears in loud rebellion.
Not almost appears, it doth appear. And for upon these taxations, the clothiers all still not able to maintain, the many of them longing have put off the spinsters, the carders, the fullers, the weavers, who unfit for other life, compelled by hunger and lack of other means, to desperate manner, during the event of the teeth, are all in uproar, and danger serves among them.
Taxation. Wherein and what taxation? My Lord Cardinal, you that are blamed for it alike with us, know you of this taxation?
Please you, sir, I know but of a single part in aught pertains to the state, and front but in that file where others tell steps with me.
No, my lord, you know no more than others, but you frame things that are known alike, which are not wholesome, to those which would not know them, and yet must perforce be their acquaintance. These exactions, whereof my sovereign would have note, they are most pestilent to the hearing, and to hear them, the back is sacrificed to the load. They say they are devised by you, or else you suffer too hard an exclamation.
Still, exaction, the nature of it, in what kind, let's know. Is this exaction?
I am much too venturous in tempting of your patience, but emboldened under your promised pardon. The subject's grief comes through commissions, which compel from each the sixth part of his substance to be levied without delay, and the pretense for this is named your wars in France. This makes bold mouths, tongues spit their duties out, and cold hearts freeze allegiance in them. Their curses now live where their prayers did, and it's come to pass that tractable obedience is a slave to each incensed will. I would your highness would give it quick consideration, for there is no primer business.
By my life, this is against our pleasure.
And for me, I have no further gone in this by a single voice, that not passeth me, but by learned approbations of the judges. If I am traduced by ignorant tongues, which neither know my faculties nor person, that will be the chronicles of my doing, let me say 'tis but the fate of place and the rough break that virtue must go through. We must not stint our necessary actions in the fear to cope malicious censurers, whichever as ravenous fishes do a vessel follow that is new trimmed, but benefit no further than vainly longing. What we oft do best by sick interpreters, once weak ones, is not ours, or not allowed. What worst, as oft, hitting a grosser quality, is cried up for our best act. If we shall stand still, in fear our motion will be mocked or carped at, we should take root here where we sit, or sit state statues only.
Things done well and with a care exempt themselves from fear. Things done without example in their issue are to be feared. Have you a president of this commission? I believe not any. We must not rend our subjects from our laws and stick them in our will. 6 parts of each, a trembling contribution. Why? We take from every tree, lock, bark, and part of the timber. And though we leave it with a root, thus hacked, the air will drink the sap. To every county where there is a question, send our letters, with free pardon to each man that has denied the force of this commission. Pray, look to it. I put it to your care.
A word with you. Let there be letters writ to every shire of the king's grace and pardon. The grieved commons hardly conceive of me. Let it be noised that through our intercession, this revokement and parting comes. I shall anon advise you further in the proceedings.
I'm sorry that the Duke of Buckingham is run in your displeasure.
Oh, it grieves many. The gentleman is learned and a most rare speaker. To nature none more bound, his training such that he must furnish and instruct great teachers, and never seek for aid out of himself. Yet see, with these so noble benefits shall prove not well disposed, the mind growing once corrupt, they turn to vicious forms 10 times more ugly than ever they were fair. This man so complete, who was enrolled amongst wonders, and when we, almost with ravished listening, could not find his hour of speech a minute, he, my lady, hath into monstrous habits put the graces that once were his, and is become as black as if besmirched in hell. Sit by us, you shall hear. This was his gentleman in trust of him, things to strike honor sad. Bid him recount the 4 recited practices, whereof we cannot feel too much, hear too much.
Stand forth and with bold spirit relate what you, most like a careful subject, have collected out of the Duke of Buckingham.
Speak freely.
First, it was usual for him every day would infect his speech, and if the king should without issue die, he'll carry it so to make the scepter his. And these very words I've heard him utter to his son-in-law, Lord Abergavenny, and to whom by oath he menaced revenge upon the cardinal.
Please, your highness, note this dangerous conception in this point. Not friended by his wish to your high person, his will is most malignant, and it stretches beyond you to your friends.
I learned, Lord Cardinal, deliver all with charity.
Speak on. How grounded he his title to the crown? Upon our fail, to this point hath thou heard him at any time speak aught?
Oh, he has brought to this by a vain prophecy of Nicholas Hinton.
What was that, Hopkins?
No, Hopkins, Hinton. Ah, yes, it was a charter briar, his confession, who fed him every minute with words of sovereignty.
How knowest thou this?
Oh, not long before your highness sped to France. I'm just a surveyor. I don't know these things. The Duke being at the Rose with the parish St. Lawrence Pulteney did of me demand that it was the speech among the Londoners concerning the French journey. I replied, men feared the French would love perfidious and to the king's danger. And presently the Duke said, 'twas the fear indeed, and that he doubled, 'twould prove the verity of certain words spoken by a holy monk. That oft, says he, hath sent to me, wishing that me to permit John de la Carre, my chaplain, a choice hour to hear from him a matter of some moment, and whom after, so the confession's seal, he solemnly had sworn that what he spoke, my chaplain, to no creature living but me, to me should utter. And with demure confidence, this pausingly ensued. Neither the king nor his heirs tell you the Duke shall prosper. Bid him strive to guide the love of the commonalty. The Duke shall govern England.
If I know you well, you were the Duke's surveyor and lost your office on the complaint of the tenants. Take good heed you charge not in your spleen a noble person, and spoil your nobler soul. I say, take heed. Yes, heartily beseech you.
Let him on. Go forward.
On my soul, I'll speak but truth. I told my lord the Duke, by the devil's illusions the monk might be deceived, and what 'twas dangerous for him to ruminate on this so far, until it forged him some design, which being believed it much like to do, he answered, 'tis not to me no damage. Therefore, further, that the king to his last sickness failed, and the cardinal and Sir Thomas Lovell's head should have gone off.
Ha!
Okay.
Ha! Ha! What? So ring. Aha!
Aha.
There's mischief in this man. Canst thou say further?
Oh, I can, my liege.
Proceed.
Well, being at Greenwich, where after your highness hath reproved the Duke, Sir William Blomer.
I remember of such a time, being my sworn servant, the Duke retained him his. But on, what hence?
Well, if, quoth he, I for this had been committed as to the Tower, I thought I would have played the part of my father meant to act upon, the usurper Richard, who being at Salisbury, made suit to come in his presence, and which, if granted, as he made semblance of his duty, would have put his knife into him.
Oh, a giant traitor.
Now, madame, may his highness live in freedom and this man out of prison?
God mend all.
There's something more would out of thee. What sayest?
Well, after the Duke, his father, with the knife, he stretched him, and with one hand on his dagger, another spread on his breast, mounting his eyes, he did discharge a horrible oath, whose tenor was, were he will evil use, he would outgo his father by as much as a performance does a resolute purpose.
There's his period to sheath his knife in us. He is attached. Call him to present trial. If he may find mercy in the law, 'tis his. If none, let him not seek it of us by day and night. He is traitor to the heights.
Yes.
Scene 3, an antechamber in the palace. Enter Chamberlain and stand. Is it possible the spells of France should juggle men into such strange mysteries?
New customs, though they never be ridiculous, nay, let them be unmanly, yet are followed.
As far as I can see, all the good our English have got by the late voyage is but merely a fit or two of the faith. But they are shrewd ones, for when they hold 'em, you would swear directly their very noses had been counselors to Pepin or Clotharius. They keep state so.
Well, they have all new legs, and lame ones, one would take it, that never saw 'em paced before. The Spaven or Springholt reigned among them.
My lord, their clothes are after such a pagan cut, too. That's sure they're worn out Christendom. How now? What news, Sir Thomas Lovell?
Faith, my lord, I hear of none but the news proclamation that's clapped upon the court gate.
What is it for?
The reformation of our traveled gallants that fill the court with quarrels, talk, and tailors.
I'm glad 'tis there. Now, I would pray our monsieur to think an English courtier may be wise and never see the Louvre.
They must either, for so run the conditions, leave those remnants of fool and feather that they got in France, with all their honorable point of ignorance pertaining thereunto, as fights and fireworks, abusing better men than they can be, out of a foreign wisdom renouncing clean the faith they have in tennis and tall stockings, short blistered breeches, and those types of travel and understand again like honest men, or pack to their old playfellows. There I take it. They may be cum privilegio, wear away the lag of their lewdness and be laughed at.
Tis time to give him physic. Their diseases are grown so catching.
What a loss our ladies will have of these trim vanities.
Ay, Mary, they will be woe indeed, lords. The sly whoresons who've got a speeding trick to lay down ladies. A French song and a fiddle has no fellow.
The devil fiddle them. I am glad they're going. For sure, there's no converting of them. And now an honest country lord, as I am, beaten a long time out of play, may bring his plain song and have an hour of hearing, and byre lady held current music too.
Well said, Lord Sands. Your colt's tooth is not cast yet.
No, my lord, nor shall not, while I have a stump.
Sir Thomas, whither are you going?
To the cardinals, your lordship is a guest too.
Oh, 'tis true. This night he makes a supper, and a great one, to many lords and ladies. There will be the beauty of this kingdom, I'll assure you.
That churchman bears a bounteous mind indeed. A hand as fruitful as the land that feeds us. His dews fall everywhere.
No doubt he's noble. He had a black mouth that said other of him.
He may, my lord, but 'twas wherewithal in him, sparing should show a worse sin than ill doctrine, and men of his way should be most liberal. They are set here for examples.
True, they are so, but few now give so great ones. My barge stays, your lordship shall along. Come, good Sir Thomas, we shall be late else, which I would not be, for I was spoke to with Sir Henry Guilford this night to be controller.
I'm your lordship's.
Scene 4, a hall in York Place. Hot boys, a small table under a state for Cardinal Wolsey, a longer table for the guests. Then enter Anne and divers other ladies and gentlemen as guests. At one door, at another door, enter Guildford. Ladies, general welcome from His Grace salute you. This night he dedicates to fair content, and you, none here he hopes, in all this noble bevy, has brought with her one care abroad. You would have all as merry as first good company, good wine, good welcome can make good people. Oh, my lord, you're tardy. The very thought of this fair company clapped wings to me. You are young, Sir Henry Guilford.
Oh, Sir Thomas Lovell, had the cardinal but half my lay thoughts in him, some of these should find a running banquet before they're rested. And I think they would better please them. By my life, they were a sweet society of fair ones.
Oh, that your lordship would but now confess her to one or two of these.
I would I were. They should find easy penance.
Faith, how easy?
As easy as a down bed would afford it.
Sweet ladies, will it please you sit? Sir Harry, place you that side. I'll take charge of this. His Grace is entering. Hey, you must not freeze. Two women placed together make cold weather. My Lord Sands, you are one will keep 'em waking. Pray, sit between these ladies.
By my faith, and thank you, lordship. By your leave, sweet ladies, if I chance to talk a little wild, forgive me. I had it from my father.
Was he master?
Oh, very mad, exceeding mad, in love too. But he would bite none, just as I do now, and I would kiss you 20 with a breath.
Well said, my lord. Now, you're fairly seated. Gentlemen, the penance lies on you. If these fair ladies pass away frowning.
Oh, for my little cure, let me alone.
Enter Cardinal Wolsey and takes his state.
You're welcome, my fair guests. That noble lady or gentleman that is not freely married is not my friend. This, to confirm my welcome, and to you all, good health.
Your grace is noble, and let me have such a bowl that may hold my thanks and save me for such talking.
My Lord Sands, I'm beholding to you. Cheer your neighbors. Ladies, you are not married. Gentlemen, whose fault is this?
Oh, the red wine first must rise in their fair cheeks, my lord. Then we shall have talking to silence.
You're a merry gamester, my Lord Sands.
Oh, yes. If I may make my play, here's to your ladyship, and pledge it, madam, for 'tis such a thing. Oh.
You cannot show me.
Oh, I told your grace they would talk anon.
What's that?
Look out there, some of you.
Warlike voice. And to what end is this? Nay, ladies, fear not. By all the laws of war, you're privileged.
How now? What is it? Noble troop of strangers, or so they seem. They left their bards and landed, and hither make as great ambassadors from foreign princes.
Good Lord Chamberlain, go, give them welcome. You can speak the French tongue, and pray, receive them nobly, and conduct them into our presence, where this heaven of beauty shall shine at full upon them. Some attend him. You've now broken banquet, but we'll mend it. A good digestion to you all. Once more I shower a welcome on ye. Welcome all. A noble company. What are their pleasures?
Because they speak no English, thus they pray to tell your grace that, having heard by fame of this so noble and so fair assembly this night to meet here, they could do no less out of the great respect they bear to beauty, but leave their flocks, and under your fair conduct crave leave to view these ladies, and entreat an hour of revels with them.
Say, Lord Chamberlain, they have done my poor house grace, for which I pay 1,000 thanks, and pray 'em take their pleasures.
Oh, the fairest hand I ever touched, oh beauty, till now I never knew thee.
My lord,
Your grace?
pray tell them, thus much from me. There should be one amongst them by his person, more worthy this place than myself, to whom if I but knew him, with my love and duty, I would surrender it.
I will, my lord.
What say they?
Such a one, they all confess, there is indeed, which they would have your grace find out, and he will take it.
Let me see then. By all your good leaves, gentlemen. Here, I'll make my royal choice.
Ye have found him, Cardinal. You hold a fair assembly, you do well, Lord. You are a churchman, or I tell you, Cardinal, I shall judge now unhappily.
I am glad your grace has grown so pleasant.
My Lord Chamberlain, prithee come hither. What fair lady is that?
And please your grace, Sir Thomas Bullen's daughter, the Viscount Rochefort, one of her highness women.
By heaven, she is a dainty one. Sweetheart, I were unmannerly to take you out and not to kiss you. Help, gentlemen, let it go round.
Sir Thomas Lovell, is the banquet ready in the privy chamber? Yes, my lord. Your grace, I fear, with dancing is a little heated.
I fear too much.
There's fresher air, my lord, in the next chamber.
Lead in your ladies, everyone, sweet partners, I must not yet forsake you. Let's be merry. Good my lord cardinal, I have half a dozen healths to drink to these fair ladies, and a measure to lead them once again, and then let's dream who's best in favor. Let the music knock it.
Act 2, Scene 1, Westminster, a street. Enter two gentlemen meeting.
These two gentlemen just explained what has just happened. So if you want to go down to Duke Buckingham's speech, long, wonderful speech.
Okay.
Buckingham.
All good people.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for
All
it.
good people. Okay. Oh, good people, you that thus far have come to pity me, hear what I say, and then go home and lose me. I have this day received a traitor's judgment, and by that name must die. Yet heaven bear witness, and I have a conscience that it thinks me, even as the axe falls. If I be not faithful, the law I bear no malice for my death. As done upon the premises for justice. But those that sought it I could wish more Christian. Be what they will, I heartily forgive them. Yet let them look their glory not in mischief, nor build their evils on the graves of great men, for then my guiltless blood must cry against them. For further life in this world I ne'er hope, nor will I sue. Although the king have mercies more than I dare make full. You few that love me, and dare be bold to weep for Buckingham, his noble friends and fellows, whom to leave is only bitter to him, only dying. Go with me, like good angels, to my end, and as the long divorce of steel falls on me, make of your prayers one sweet sacrifice, and lift my soul to heaven. Lead on, a God's name.
And we beseech your grace for charity, if ever any malice in your heart were hid against me, now to forgive me frankly.
To Thomas Lovell, I as free forgive you as I would be forgiven. I forgive all. There cannot be those numberless offences against me that I cannot take peace with. No black envy shall mark my grace. Commend me to his grace, and if he speak of Buckingham, pray tell him you met him half in heaven. My vows and prayers yet are the king. Until my soul forsake, shall cry for blessings on him. May he live longer than I have time to tell his years. Ever beloved and loving may his rule be, and when old time shall lead him to his end, goodness and he fill up one monument.
To the waterside I must conduct your grace, and give my charge up to Sir Nicholas Vaux, who undertakes you to your end.
Prepare there, the Duke is coming. Let the barge be ready, and fit it with such furniture as suits the greatness of his person.
Nay, Sir Nicholas, let alone. My state now will but mock me. When I came hither, I was Lord High Constable and Duke of Buckingham, and now poor Edward Bohun. Yet I am richer than my base accusers that never knew what truth meant. I now seal it, and with that blood will make 'em one day groan for it. My noble father, Henry of Buckingham, who first raised head against usurping Richard, flying for succor to his servant Bannister, being distressed, was by that wretch betrayed, and without trial fell. God's peace be with him. Henry VII, succeeding, truly pitying my father's loss, like a most royal prince, restored me to my honors, and out of ruins made my name once more noble. Now his son, Henry VIII, life honor, fame, and all that made me happy at one stroke is taken forever from the world. I had my trial, and must needs say a noble one, which makes me a little happier than my wretched father, yet thus far we are one in fortune, both fell by our service, by those men we loved most, the most unnatural and faithless sex. Heaven has an end in all, yet you that hear me, this from a dying man receive as certain. Where you are liberal of your loves and counsels, be sure be not loose. For those you make friends and give your hearts to, when they once perceive the least rub in your fortunes, fall away like water from ye, never found again, but where they mean to sink. All good people, pray for me. I must now forsake ye. The last hour of my long, weary life is come upon me. Farewell. And when you would say something that is sad, speak how I fell. I have done. God forgive me.
And we can go on to scene 2.
Scene 2, an antechamber in the palace. Enter Chamberlain reading a letter. My lord, the horses your lordship sent for, with all the care I had, I saw well chosen, ridden and furnished. They were young and handsome, and of the best breed of the north. When they were ready to set out for London, a man of my Lord Cardinal's, by commission and main power, took 'em from me with this reason: his master would be served before a subject, if not before the king, which stopped our mouths, sir. I fear he will indeed. Well, let him have them. He will have all, I think.
Well met, my Lord Chamberlain.
Good day to both your graces.
How's the king employed?
I left him private, full of sad thoughts and troubles.
Well, what's the cause?
It seems the marriage with his brother's wife has crept too near his conscience.
No, his conscience has crept too near another lady.
'Tis so. This is the cardinal's doing. The king cardinal, that blind priest, like the eldest son of fortune, turns what he lists. The king will know him one day.
Pray God he do. He'll never know himself else.
How he works in all his business, and with what zeal he now has cracked the league between us and the emperor. He dives into the king's soul, and there scatters dangers, doubts, bringing off the conscience, fears and despairs, and all these for his marriage. And out of all these, to restore the king, he counsels a divorce, a loss of her that, like a jewel, had hung 20 years about his neck, yet never lost her luster. Of her that loves him, and with that excellence that angels love good men with, even of her that when the greatest stroke of fortune falls, will bless the king. And is not this course pious?
Heaven keep me from such counsel. 'Tis most true, these news are everywhere, every tongue speaks them, and every true heart weeps for it. All that dare look into these affairs see the main end, the French king's sister. Heaven will one day open the king's eyes that so long have slept upon this bold bad man,
and free us from his slavery.
We had need to pray, and heartily for our deliverance, and this imperious man will work us all, from princes into pages. All men's honors lie like one lump before him, to be fashioned into what pitch he please.
For me, my lords, I love him not fear him, nor fear him. There's my creed. As I am made without him, so I'll stand, the king please. His curses and his blessing touch me alike. Their breath I not believe in. I knew him, and I know him. So I leave him to him that made him proud, the Pope.
Well, let's in. and with some other business, put the king from these sad thoughts that might work too much upon him. My lord, you'll bear us company?
Excuse me, the king has sent me otherwhere. Besides, you'll find a most unfit time to disturb him. Health, your lordships?
Thanks, my good Lord Chamberlain.
Sad he looks. Sure, he is much afflicted.
Who's there?
Pray God he be not angry.
Who's there, I say? How dare you thrust yourselves into my private meditations? Who am I?
A gracious king that pardons all offenses, malice ne'er meant. Our breach of duty, thus with business is of his state, in which we come to know your royal pleasure.
You are too bold. Go to. I'll make you know your times of business. Is this an hour for temporal affairs? Who's there? My good Lord Cardinal? Oh, my Wolsey. The quiet of my wounded conscience. Thou art a cure fit for a king. You're welcome, most learned reverend sir, into our kingdom. Use us in it. My good lord, have great care I be not found a talker.
Sir, you cannot. I would your grace would give us but an hour of private conference.
We are busy. Go.
This priest has no pride in him.
Not to speak of. Would not be so sick, though, for his place, but this cannot continue.
If it do, I'll venture one. Have at him.
Aye, another. Your grace is given a precedent of wisdom above all princes, committing freely your scruple to the voice of Christendom. Who can be angry now? What envy reach you? The Spaniard, tied blood and favored to her, must now confess they have any goodness, the trial just and noble. All the clerks, I mean the learned ones, in Christian kingdoms have their free voices. Rome, the nurse of judgment, invited by your noble self, has sent one general tongue unto us, this good man, this just and learned priest, Cardinal Campeius, whom once more I present unto your highness.
And once more in mine arms I bid him welcome, and thank the holy conclave for their loves, that had sent me such a man I would have wished for.
Your grace must needs deserve all strangers' loves. You are so noble. To your highness' hand I tender my commission, by whose virtue the court of Rome commanding. You, my lord Cardinal of York, are joined with me, their servant, in the impartial judging of this business.
Two equal men, the queen shall be acquainted forthwith for what you've come. Where's Gardiner?
I know your majesty has always loved her so dear in heart, not to deny her that a woman of less place might ask by law. Scholars allowed freely to argue for her.
Aye, and the best she shall have, and my favor to him that does best, God forbid else. Cardinal, prithee, call Gardier to me, my new secretary. I'll find him a fit fellow.
Give me your hand, much joy and favor to you. You are the king's now.
But to be commended forever by your grace, whose hand has raised me.
Come hither, Gardier.
My lord of York, was not one Dr. Pace in this man's place before him?
Yes, he was.
Was he not held a learned man?
Yes, surely.
Believe me, there's an ill opinion spread then, even of yourself, Lord.
How? Of me?
They will not stick to say you envied them, and fearing he would rise, he was so virtuous, kept him a foreign man still, which so grieved him that he ran mad and died.
Heaven's peace be with him. That's Christian care enough. For living murmurers, there's places of rebuke. He was a fool, for he would needs be virtuous. That good fellow, if I command him, follows my appointment. I will have none so near else. Learn this, brother. We live not to be griped by meaner persons.
Deliver this with modesty to the queen. The most convenient place that I can think of for such receipt of learning is Blackfriars. There ye shall meet about this weighty business. My Wolsey, see it furnished. Oh, my lord, would it not grieve an able man to leave so sweet a bedfellow? Ah, but conscience, oh, 'tis a tender place. I must leave her.
Scene 3, an antechamber of the Queen's apartment. Enter Anne and an old lady.
May I ask something? I'm sorry to interrupt. She has both parts, so who should play the old lady? Could Peter play the old lady? So that we don't have her reading both parts. Can we start again?
Okay.
Yeah, let's start again.
Me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Me? Okay.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay. Scene 3, an antechamber in the Queen's apartments. Enter Anne and an old lady.
Not for that either. Here's the pang that pinches. His Highness having lived so long with her, and she so good a lady that no tongue could ever pronounce dishonor of her. By my life, she never knew harm doing. Oh, now after so many curses of the sun enthroned, still drawing in a majesty and pomp, the which to leave 1,000-fold more bitter than 'tis sweet at first to acquire. After this process, to give her the avant, it is pity would move a monster.
Her heart's of most hard tempest melts in a lament for her.
Oh, God's will, much better she ne'er had known pomp, thought be temporal, yet if the quarrel fortune do divorce it from the bearer, 'tis sufferance panging, a soul and body severing.
Alas, poor lady, she's a stranger now here again.
So much the more must pity drop upon her. Verily, I swear 'tis better to be lowly born and range with humble livers in content than to be perked up in a glistering grief and wear a golden sorrow.
Our content is our best having.
By my troth and maidenhead, I would not be a queen.
Well, beshrew me, I would, and venture maidenhead for it, and so would you. But all this spice of your hypocrisy, yes, you that have so fair parts of the women in you, have too a woman's heart, which ever yet affected eminence, wealth, sovereignty, which, to say sooth, are blessings, and which gifts, saving your mincing, the capacity of your soft chivalral conscience would receive if you might please to stretch it.
Nay, good troth.
Ah, yes, troth and troth. You would not be a queen?
No, not for all the riches under heaven.
For 'tis strange. A threepence, how would hire me, old as I am, no queen yet. But I pray you, what think you of a duchess? Have you limbs to bear that load of title?
No, in truth.
Then you are weakly made. Pluck off a little. I would not be a young count in your way. For more than the blushing comes to, if your back cannot vouchsafe this burden, 'tis too weak ever to get a boy.
How you do talk! I swear again I would not be a queen for all the world.
For in faith, for little England you would venture an emballing. I myself would for Carbonshire, will there be king no more to the crown but that? Lo, who comes here?
Good morrow, ladies. What worth to know the secret of your conference?
My good lord, not your demand, it values not your asking. Our mistress sorrows we were pitying.
It was a gentle business and becoming the action of good women. There is hope all will be well.
Now I pray God, amen.
You bear a gentle mind, and heavenly blessings follow such creatures, that you may, fair lady, perceive I speak clearly, and high note pain of your many virtues. The King's Majesty commends his good opinion of thee, and does propose honor to you no less flowing than Marchioness of Pembroke, to which title £1,000 a year annual support out of his grace he adds.
I do not know what kind of my obedience I should tender. More than my all is nothing, nor my prayers are not words dully hollowed, nor my wishes more worth than empty vanities. Yet prayers and wishes are all I can return. Beseech your lordship, vouchsafe to speak my thanks and my obedience as from a blushing handmaid to his highness, whose health and royalty I pray for.
Lady, I shall not fail to approve the fair conceit the king hath of you. I have perused her well. Beauty and honor in her are so mingled that they have caught the king. And who knows yet but from this lady may proceed a gem to lighten all this time. Out to the king and say I spoke with you.
My honored lord.
Oh, why, this it is. See, I have been begging 16 years in court, and yet a courtier beggarly, nor could compat betwixt too early and too late for any suit of pounds, and you, oh, bait, a very fresh fish here. Fie upon this compelled fortune. Have your mouth filled up before you opened it.
This is strange to me.
Well, how taste it? Is it bitter? 40 pence? No. There was a lady once, 'tis an old story, that would not be a queen, that would she not, for all the mud in Egypt. Have you heard it?
Come, you're pleasant.
Well, with you there, with your theme, I could omit the lot. The Marchioness of Pembroke, £1,000 a year for pure respect, no other obligation. By my life, the promises now more thousands. Honor's train is longer than his foreskirt. By this time, I know your back will bear a duchess. Say, are you not stronger than you were?
Good lady, make yourself mirth with your particular fancy, and leave me out on't. Would I had no being, if the salute my blood a jot. It faints me to think what fellows. The queen is comfortless, and we forgetful. In our long absence, pray do not deliver what here you've heard to her.
What do you think of me?